So, you hopefully have figured out how to get to Pivot Interactives, signed into your class using the class code, and found the assignment, which is pendulums, period, and release angle. Um, you should end up on a page that looks like this, some text at the top, and the focus of our experience today is this video right here that you can see. Um, Here we see some nice lab equipment, a little electromagnet with a switch and a battery holding a pendulum hanging from something up above. And if we press play on our video, you can see, first of all, this is in slow motion and the guy releases and the pendulum releases and it swings back and forth slowly. We're going to measure how long it takes the pendulum to swing from the right to the left and back again. So pause this, reset it. Let's get oriented on what we can do here. Um, Notice up here in the upper left and similarly down here in the lower left, it says length of 5. This is not 5 centimeters or meters or inches or feet long. So 5, it's a number assigned to it. It's not a measurement. Release angle of E. E is not an angle, so that's also assigned to it. We don't know what the release angle is. We happen to know the mass is 195 grams, so keep that in mind. Up in the upper right corner, we have this icon with the wrench and the screwdriver. If we click on that, you can see there's 3 tools available. This is a ruler. We're not going to use the ruler today. This is a protractor. We will use this, so click on this. The protractor appears. I think it's in the right location. You can move it around, but you probably don't need to. I'm going to try to put it back where it started, right about there. Remember the center of the protractor is where that T is right there. You want that to be at the pivot point. And the last tool is a stopwatch. We click that and it appears rather inconveniently right over the pendulum. So let's move that off to the side. Now, we want to record using the stopwatch on the screen how long it takes this pendulum to swing back and back, out and back. So if I press play right now, you'll notice the stopwatch starts, but the pendulum doesn't start moving until almost half a second in. So that's not very useful. I'm actually going to pause this, pause it right here. The pendulum's already taken one full swing, and I'm going to use that. Now, I'm going to play a little bit more to get it back where it started. So it's taken one full swing, it's gotten back to where it started. Down here, next to the play pause button, there are these 2 arrows. They let us move frame by frame through the video. So I want to try to get the pendulum as close to this little thing where it started as I can. So I'm going to click frame by frame and see if I can't get it. Oh, look at that, it gets a little bit closer. And then there's a bunch of frames where it seems like it's already touching. You want to kind of pick where you think is the last moment, the closest moment where it is, kind of in the middle of those frames where it looks like it's touching. And then reset the stopwatch. Use the white circle there with the arrow in it. Now when we press play on the video, the stopwatch will start from 0 and the pendulum will be swinging to the left. Start it, there it goes. Swings off to the left, swings back to the right. Pause it. Oh, it's not quite back where it started. I'm going to use these arrows to try to get it as close as I can. If I go too far, remember, and it looks like I'm starting to go too far, I can go back. And I just want to get sort of that moment when I think it's as close, and right in the middle of where it is, as close as it can be there. There's a little bit of fuzziness, but I think that's pretty good right there. Now my stopwatch says 1.2500 seconds, or rather, strangely conveniently round number. Notice also I can read This started with probably a 5-degree angle of release. So it took the pendulum 1.25 seconds to swing 5 degrees each way, back again. We're going to record that measurement on our data table. And you'll notice back here, I've already created a data table. I did this once and I got a different value. You will get some variation here. So we want to write 5 degrees. And we want to write 1.2500 s on the data table. You need to complete 4 more measurements. Now, as I mentioned before, the release angle was E. We needed to use the protractor to measure that. If you click on the release angle, this menu pops up here. Don't change the length, don't change the mass, change the release angle. Look at, we can go all the way up to X. Now remember, we need a total of 5. Don't choose F, because F is like going from 5 to 6. That's not enough change. We want to go a few letters up. Maybe try I. That's 9 or 10 degrees. Awesome. And if you kind of skip like that, maybe go all the way up to X. Look at that, 51 degrees of angle. Try to get 5 measurements between 5 degrees and 51 degrees. It should be spread nicely over that range if you can. When you're done, you'll take the numbers that you wrote down on your data table, go back to Canvas, and create a table in Canvas. There's instructions on the link, on the assignment, how you got to this pivot page in Canvas. You submit, look at the instructions, and you can fill in a data table and turn it in to me there. All right, I gotta figure out how to stop this thing.